Night falls and the wind blows. The first melodic notes of that sinister song are carried across the mountains towards me, and a wave of cold fear shivers through my veins. I have a couple of Bible passages memorized. It still all seems so bizarre to me, but hey, if it works, it works. I mutter them to myself over and over as I watch for any signs of an approaching what exactly? What am I fighting here? Demons, I suppose, or demon, if Yuri's theory is correct, but are they? Are they really demons in the way that I am to assume they are? The same singing from the previous night ebbs and flows with the tides of the wind. A deep, low line of voice that rumbles the bones, interspersed with harmonious, beautiful chords. It's different tonight, though. It's ever so slightly sharper. It sounds just a little less like a song I'm simply hearing, as opposed to a song that's being sung to me. But for the first 2 hours of the night, nothing further happens. A modest tumble of stone across the gorge sends my heart rate into temporary overdrive, but nothing approaches. Not yet. The tension builds, almost unbearably. It isn't well into the third hour that I hear Elena's voice carry across the wind. "Sighted!" she shouts. And across the outpost, a blast of dazzling light tears suddenly into the sky. Here we go, I wince, knuckles white on the weapon. A part of me is almost relieved to have that brutal, building tension finally crack. It's far clearer night tonight, and I could see further down the cliffside into the abyss. A ripple of dark wind crashes like water into the mountain down below, and this wind carries with it a shadow, clambering with speed and determination up the rock towards the outpost walls. "Fuck!" I shout out loud as I angle the weapon down with a clank, hauling up the lever to the side and taking quick aim. Despite the cold, I am sweating, and the forearms of my jacket are currently rolled up to the elbows. The hairs across my forearms all react to the crackle in suddenly electricity as I fire, and the spotlight gun sends a blast of concentrated, sunlight-style energy down towards the approaching assailant. I miss, and the creature draws closer. I catch glimpses of disturbingly human-like arms and hands bursting from the sides of the demon's form as it tears up the mountainside. I bring the weapon round with another mechanical clank, and the beam passes right through it, bursting the creature into shadowy flames and smoke. Pieces clatter from the obliterated demon and rattle back down the rock, and the night is clear enough and the monster close enough for me to actually see the cause of the rattling this time. They're bones. As the demon is destroyed, burnt bones are sent clattering out from its ruin. Ribs and pieces of spine and others too, and they vanished back down into the shadow pretty promptly, but they were bones all right, I'm sure of it. And so it goes. I do my best to keep the demons in the dark at bay. This is my task, this is my duty, and these are my orders. I cannot help but recall particular words from Christians as I blast these monsters to kingdom come. There was a Sikh stationed here once. He lost his sight, and then the next night, he simply disappeared. Disappeared. How? And why? What happened to him exactly here on the mountainside? One of the enemy below screams with the wind as the light tears it into 1,000 pieces. And as the night progresses, as we enter in those hours the furthest from the lights of dusk and dawn, I watch as something clambers steadily up the mountainside opposite, not the drop directly beneath me. I mutter a phrase from Corinthians and aim the weapon up high with a series of mechanical clicks and clanks. Electricity judders through my veins as the light is sent soaring out towards it, but this demon acts differently to the others. It is difficult, almost impossible to focus on these creatures, such is the fluidity of their forms, but this one is more difficult still. It spreads out wide into the shape of a circle, and the beam passes harmlessly through its center. I direct the weapon this way and that, but each time the entity on the opposite mountain distorts and shimmers through various dreamlike shapes to avoid it. And by doing so, my faith in the weapon's ability falters. Sweat leaks in little rivulets down my back, and a voice I recognize whispers into my ear. The voice is my brother's, made all the more alarming by the fact that my brother has been dead for 10 long years. "I miss you, Adam," he says. No, it's not him. It's them. My heart pounds in pain and longing, fear and anger. I'd give anything to call back to him, to talk to him one last time, but I cannot, of course. I cannot. 2. Do not engage verbally or physically with the enemy. I shout out the passage from the previous night, the one with the trumpets, a passage of defiance. Adam, lay down your weapon and come to the edge. The dwellers on the outpost are lying to you. You seek the truth, and I can provide it. As with before, when my brother's voice says I, it comes out as 2 words, sounding as if he is saying we with the exact same breath. And I grit my teeth, eyes wide and knuckles cracked as I mutter the passage again and again, over and over, my breath clouding in the blast of the beam. My brother's voice whispers further. I know you are scared, and I am sorry for the fears I've caused you. But ask yourself where the true enemy lies. I seek nothing but safety, sanctuary, and peace. But I do not listen. I push aside these intrusive words and battle on through the night, keeping at bay every creeping threat to the outpost. The beam from another turret comes to my aid. I do not know whose it is, Christian's perhaps, but it strikes through the shadowy shape-shifting entity directly across this great gorge, and together with the ray of my own light, the demon is obliterated into the night with a shower of smoke and dark, clattering bones. So the demons can see inside our heads then. They can access our memories. The prospect is a terrifying one. I am now decidedly unnerved and panicked, hearing my brother's voice again, coming from something other than an electronic recording device. It has set me on a new and precarious edge. I thought I had a basic grasp of these creatures, but I am realizing all over again that I don't have a clue what they're capable of. Anything could happen now. Lights flash in the darkness. I hear a voice carried across the roof of the outpost by a sudden gust of wind. Female, Russian, Elena, no doubt, and I feel a stab of bitter frustration as I swing the mechanical weapon around with a clank. She's been here for a long time, that much is clear. How long exactly, I'm not too sure, but it could be anything up to 2 months, potentially longer. Charlie's been here for 4 weeks, that's what he said, and he's NATO, so surely he should only be doing 2? and April seems to be under the impression that Elena has some secrets to hide. I shake my head and mutter a curse under my breath. The system here seems to be in all sorts of shambles. Perhaps our respective commands don't really give a damn, all things considered, provided that the outpost fulfills its most basic quota of 6 warm bodies to defend it. But I digress. Elena has been here a long time. Yuri, likely as well. Why didn't they warn me about all this? They've barely helped me at all. What have they done for me exactly? A soldier putting his life on the line in the face of such unearthly terror. I've been given a brief lecture on fucking ley lines from Elena, and scarcely a handful of words from Yuri. Maybe they were just blinded by all the anti-America propaganda they're spoon-fed day after day. But surely up here on this mountain they'd try to put that to one side, right? Surely. In the face of such greater evil. My forearms ache as I tense them up and swing the weapon down with another metallic creak and clank, electricity sparking as I fire a beam into the darkness below. Destroy all those who curse my soul, I recite with jaw clenched. In service, I am yours. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war. Mechanical booms of thunder are sent rippling through the valley and the mountains, as the lightning-like flashes alight the rocky edges in the darkness. The Lord, of course, was not quite the one who trained my hands for war, however. I have the Army of the United States of America to thank for that. A not-so-benevolent Lord, if there ever was one. Less Jehovah, more Mars. But I try not to think about this. Such thoughts, I have found, weaken the effect of the weapon. I try to follow the advice given to me by Christian. Think good thoughts, it helps. Same advice given to me by the Russian officer who dropped me off on the first night. That first night was 2 days ago, Adam. You've scarcely been here for 2 days. Feels like a fucking lifetime. But the night goes on and the battle rages. And as before, as always, thankfully, the darkness recedes. The first glorious shimmer of sunlight rises above the jagged horizon, and the edges of the mountains are washed in faded gold. I collapse away from the weapon, my back up against the little metal railing behind me. I look down at my hands. They are covered in grime, shaking, and several of the fingers are locked into their positions. And to move them causes me pain, and I wince as I try to work the blood flow back into them. And after a concerted burst of effort, I clamber to my feet and head across the roof of this section of the outpost, making my way down the metal ladder and returning into the building. In a dreary daze, I pass by both Charlie and Christian on my way to my dorm. I nod at them both. Charlie nods back. Christian even gives me a smile and a clap on the shoulder. I do as before. I shed my uniform and my coat, and I collapse into my bed. I do not even bother to draw the curtains, though it doesn't particularly matter. The daylight streaming weakly through the window is not sufficient to wake me up from my slumber, and my sleep is deep. Deep, and as with the previous night, unsettling. I awaken with a groan at 1400 hours, 2 p.m., earlier than yesterday, and there's no blissful ignorance as I return to the land of the living this morning. Afternoon, I suppose. And I am, instead, instantly aware of where I am and what my purpose is here. And what I'll need to do again tonight. I groan a little louder, rubbing my hand across my eyes, and smelling the grease and grime across them as I do so. I need to start washing a little better before bed. This can't be healthy. I clean up and dress for the day, leaving my dorm and heading through the kitchen canteen to grab some breakfast. A generator hums quietly in one corner as I cook some eggs and beans and bring them to the main room, the hexagon. Elena is in here, eating something out of a bowl at the side of the room. She glances up from her crossword at my approach, but does not make any kind of greeting. April is in here also, at the room's opposite side, and she's fiddling with a small radio, the pieces of which lay scattered across one of the tables. "Hey, Adam," she says to me. "Good sleep?" "No," I reply. "Not really, but it served its purpose." "That's the spirit," she replies as she tinkers. "Say, you aren't an engineer, are you?" "No, sorry." "No worries. Thought it was worth asking. Yuri is, but, he's a miserable bastard." Elena looks up again and swallows her mouthful of food. She jabs the hand with a spoon and it over to where April is sitting. "Yuri will fix your radio. Get off your high horse and ask him. He'll do this." April snorts and shakes her head. "No, he won't. He'll swear at me in Russian and leave me to suffer. He isn't a good person." Elena seems to take offense to this. "Yuri does what is best for good of the outpost. You need him to fix radio? He will fix radio. This is Russian good person. American good person means fake smiles and hollow laughter all day, 24 hours. How very cliche, I mutter. A Russian with an anti-Americanism complex. Elena's cold, pale eyes flicker over to mine, and I get the uneasy sense that a great weight was just dropped on top of me. She puts down her bowl and gets to her feet, a slow motion, one that serves to draw out the tension. This woman does not scare me, not after the horrors of the night. "You are not typical recruit we get sent here, Adam," she says. I note that this could be the first time she's addressed me by my actual name. "No?" I ask. "No," she replies. "You are timid. You have angsty aura, unsettled, childlike. You are putting the Outpost Coalition in danger with your presence." I stare at her, irritated, but doing my best not to seem fazed. I force out some laughter and fold my arms. "You've got me all wrong. How am I putting the Outpost in danger exactly? I just helped successfully defend it. You know how many demons I destroyed last night?" Elena doesn't respond. She only watches me, searching me with those Arctic eyes. I shift uncomfortably. April chimes in. "Oh, leave him alone, Elena, you bully. He's doing his best." This seems to make her particularly angry. The bully comments. A flash of genuine fury crosses her face, and I watch her body twitch. Her fists clench just for a moment. My throat dries and I get a quick, modest burst of adrenaline. But nothing happens. Elena closes her eyes and takes a breath, and then she simply strides from the room, down one of the corridors, and towards another section of the outpost. I untense my muscles and bring myself down into a seat near April with a grunt, to actually go ahead and eat my breakfast. We sit for a while in comfortable silence, me eating and April working away at her radio. She presses a button and it cracks and fizzles. She sighs. "These things are temperamental at best," she says, shaking it in her hand. "They don't work like they're supposed to up here in this environment, and mine's dead completely." And I look at her. "April, tell me, how long have you been here exactly at the outpost?" "Just over a week," she replies. "Just over a week. And Charlie's been here for 4. Is that right?" She nods. "But But I thought NATO personnel were only required to do 2. Yeah, she says uneasily. But you know how it is. They tell you one thing and then they just change it. And to be fair, I think Charlie actually volunteered to stay longer. I think he wants to do 2 months like the Russians. What? Why would he want that? April shrugs again. I think he just liked the thrill. The thrill. I shake my head. What about Christian then? So, Christian's been here before. He's only on his 2nd week right now, but he keeps coming back. I think he's been more or less alternating groups of weeks for about a year. A year? Yeah. Maybe more even. A year. Why would he do that? Why would he keep coming back? Is this of his own choosing, or are his superiors forcing him back all the time? Our superiors, I guess. So, what about Elena? You sure ask a lot of questions, Adam. Maybe that's because no one tells me anything. Okay, geez. I don't know how long Elena's been here. She won't tell me. I don't really know anything about her, but she hates me, and that much is pretty obvious. The thing is, though, Adam, I think she's been here for a long time. Like, really long. You can tell in the way she speaks to Christian that the two go way back, but I think she's been here for longer than he has. And I'm not convinced that she's taking any time off either. There's something that scares me about that one, and I'm not just talking about that nasty scar. So Christine won't tell you anything either? Why not? I don't know. I think that he and the Russians are keeping secrets from us, from the Americans. I don't get it. Why would they do that? And Christian is a nice guy. He's a NATO soldier, for God's sake. April just puts out her hands. Listen, come take a look at this, all right? She stands up and checks down the corridor that Elena left through, before beckoning me over to the side of the room, to the section of the wall with the little framed photographs across them. You want to see something really weird? I don't know what could be possibly weirder than what I've already seen, but sure, go for it. She leads me through a door in the wall to a small back room, and it's basically a storage unit with lots of shelves, and it's full of dusty photographs, many of which have been framed. Some are kept in stacked piles, others hang on the limited wall space. She points to one such photo. Take a look at this one. You recognize anybody? I squint at it. It's a picture of a squad of 6 people out in the front of the outpost. The enormous weapon of the outpost roofs can be seen in the background. In the foreground stand 3 people, with 3 others crouched down at the front. 5 men, 1 woman. They're all grinning in this picture, which makes the woman initially quite hard to identify. The quality is unusual also, quite grainy looking, with a scar. Once you think to look for it, it's obvious. It's Elena, all right. Her hair's different, and she seems a bit younger, but she still looks pretty much the same. Oh, it's a picture of Elena and the rest of the team. They're all different people. Yeah, but that's not the weird part. Check this. April again glances around, peering back out through the door before moving to unhook the picture frame from the wall. She turns it over and adjusts the clips until she's able to fully slide the photograph out from the frame. She flips it, revealing a scrawled line and pen near the bottom. Read this, she says. Look at the date. I take it from her. The handwriting is poor, but in thin black ink are a series of initials and a date. SGH 1987. SGH 1987. I furrow my brow at her. 1987? Think about it. That would make this picture 35 years old. What the fuck are we supposed to take from that? That Elena's been here for 35 years at least? And I mean, just look at her. You have to be 18 to join the army, right? So let's assume that in this picture, at the absolute lowest, 18. Does the Elena you know look like a 53-year-old woman? Well, no, I reply uneasily. Obviously, Elena isn't 53 years old. And what the fuck is she doing in a picture from 1987? I consider this, flipping it over, looking from the picture to the writing and back. No way, I murmur. This can't be right. There are loads of good explanations for this. Maybe it's not Elena. Maybe SGH just wrote 1987 on the back for a joke. There's no way this pic is from so long ago. Why would anybody do that? April asks me intently. Where's the joke? I don't know. Maybe it's a Russian reference. Did anything of significance happen in 1987? I shake my head. It's just pen and paper, April. You can write any old numbers on photographs. Doesn't mean they're actually from that date. April grimaces. There's something they're not telling us, Adam. The Russians. They're keeping something from us, and if I was a betting woman, I'd say it'd have to do with the outpost. I consider this as we've returned back into the main room. As April and I shoot the shit and talk about our lives back home. She's from a little further south than I. She comes from a little town just outside St. Louis. I don't think she particularly likes it there very much, based on the way she talks about it. Maybe that's why she joined the army. Eventually, she heads off to relieve Yuri from his tower duty, and I decide to wander the complex. I headed from room to room, spending most of this period in an old equipment storage facility. It's full of musty, dusty old climbing gear, harnesses, carabiners, and ropes, all that stuff. I recognize one such set as standard U.S. Army issue, and it's as I am investigating these items that Charlie's head appears suddenly from around the doorway. I jump in alarm. "Afternoon, mate," he says with a grin. Then a bottle of vodka appears in his hand. He shakes the bottle, and the liquid slush is about in the glass. "Fancy a quick drink?" I hesitate. "I don't know, man," I tell him. "Is it really such a good idea?" "Come on," he says. "Just a little. Just wet the whistle. One or two." He gives the bottle another tempting shake. I hesitate. "Sure," I reply after a beat. "Why not?" A few hours pass. These hours comprise myself, Charlie, and Christian sharing one or two modest drinks in the hexagon. Yuri partakes also, though he keeps to himself and sits by one of the room's windows, nursing thirstily from a bottle. "Vkusno," he mutters to himself as he finishes it off, dropping the bottle to the floor with a glassy clank and staggering up and out of his seat, stumbling towards the low little table that Christian, Charlie, and I sat around, to grab another to take away. "But that's just the thing, lads. Listen. I'm serious. Listen." Charlie slurs as I knock over a can of questionable Russian beer with the back of my hand. Christian interrupts with his best impression of Charlie's accent. "For real, lads. I am not kidding ya. It's a bloody mess, all right." Alcohol splurts from my lips as I struggle to hold back laughter, and Charlie slams his fist down onto a table with rich amusement, sending the hordes of glasses and cans rattling and knocking into each other. One or two of the emptier cans fall on their sides and roll to the floor. "If you are such a nice bloke, I'd knock you the fuck out, Christian," he says, just a little too loudly. Christian shakes his head and wipes some froth from his beard, then waggles his finger in Charlie's face. No, No, you wouldn't, my friend. Such violence is not for the good vibes, yes? He corrects himself. Such violence is not good for the good vibes. It disturbs the demons. Or demon. Singular, right, Yuri? I say, leaning back and calling over to the Russian in the corner. He spits on the ground and waves his hand. Nia Soronov, the man mutters. My mood sours, I throw out a hand. What's your problem, man? Why don't you like me? Give me a chance, for fuck's sake. I'm doing my best here. Hey, chill out, mate, Charlie says, putting out a hand, a drunken blink rolling across his face from one eye to the other. Don't be so American, you know? The hell's that meant to mean? I ask him as Yuri staggers to his feet. Ain't nothing personal like, Charlie says, his eyebrows shooting up as he reaches for another sip of vodka. I just mean, like, you know, needing to be liked and all that. Don't stress it. He'll warm to you in time. I'm not sure if he will, I sigh. Whatever. I'm just trying to create a sense of coalition. Looking out for my fellow man, unity, etc., etc. Yuri snorts on his way out of the room. He's doubtful. He grunts dryly before vanishing out of sight. I reach for another bottle and take a swig. Charlie chuckles. Russians think they're hot shit because they've been here so long. Well, we'll see. I want to break Yuri's record. I promise you now, lads. What about Elena's? I ask him. The man shakes his head vigorously. No chance, pal. She's been here for fucking years. So it's true. Years? Charlie shrugs and leans back in his chair, burping. I don't know, mate. I could be exaggerating. Christian knows her better than I do. I turn to him. Christian, what do you think? What's Elena's story? Christian scratches his beard. She's been here a long time, yes? Since 1987? I whisper anxiously. 1987? What? I stare at him. He stares back, then laughs, taking another big swift of beer. You're joking, right? I doubt she's been here since 1987. Not possible, really, actually. So how long has she been here, then? Christian sighs. She prefers me not to tell you. She's a private person. Mysterious. She has lots of history. I think she finds peace up here, away from the world. Peace? Up here? On Demon Mountain? Demon Mountain, Charlie snorts. I like that one. Sounds like a ride at bloody Disney World. Think about it. Demons. We're fighting demons up here, I shout, throwing out my arms, knocking a bottle to the floor with a clatter. Why haven't we all acknowledged how batshit crazy that is? We have, mate. We've just been through what you're going through already, Charlie says, pointing his bottle at me and clapping me on the shoulder. You're doing good, mate. Just keep the demons out. Don't let them into the outpost. Don't use weaponry outside the boundary, etc. The demon spoke to me in my brother's voice last night. I mutter quietly, and the guys share a quick glance. What'd he say? Christian asked. He told me that it only wanted peace, that I should ask myself who the true enemy are. You didn't respond, did you, mate? Charlie asks in a sudden panic. Of course he didn't, Christian interjects. You think we'd be sitting here so casually right now if he did? So what happens if we do respond? I ask nervously in a low voice. If they do get into the outpost, I lean forward, the other two do likewise. They look at each other as the wind blows beyond the walls of the complex. It's snowing this evening. Might be a cold one tonight. A demon got into that complex once before with you, didn't he, Chris? Charlie asked the Norwegian, and the man nods. That was a terrible night, Adam. One of the worst nights of my life. He sighs and sets his bottle back onto the table. And believe me, I've had some low-quality nights. Elena was there also. It was like taking away the mosquito net by the banks of a tropical river. Charlie nods somberly and takes another sip, staring off into space. Poetic might. I press him. And how long ago was the worst night of your life? When was this, exactly? Christian rubs his fingers over his eyes. I'm not sure. 2 years, maybe? 2 years. So you've been here that long? I ask him. No, he replies. I come and go. I consider this. So, that confirms some of what April was saying earlier. Christian comes and goes. Elena has been here for at least 2 years. Quite likely longer. I need more. I need more information. And Elena, I began, whispering now, though Charlie seems amused by this. It's all right, mate, he slurs. She ain't gotta hear you. Speak your mind. He winks at Christian. I certainly know it's on my mind, lads. He puts his hands out in front of his chest, making the international gesture for massive boobs. This sets Christian roaring with laughter, and I cannot help but join in. Charlie, Christian laughs. You are a bad man. You shouldn't speak like that of our comrade. What? Charlie says defensively, giving us his best innocent face. I'm just saying, I'd love to have a go on those fucking tits. He elbows me. Aye, wouldn't you, Adam? I laugh drunkenly and shrug. I'm not sure, man. She kinda scares me. This sets the guys laughing even harder. Though, I suppose, I put on my best British accent, she does have a nice lovely bed of knockers. What the fuck is going on in here? Says Elena from just behind me. And the three of us shout out in alarm and stagger up to our feet in an instant. Bottles and glasses clinking and knocking and tipping, rolling noisily across the little table and clattering to the floor. She stares with fury at the enormous collection of bottles and emptied cans across the table, chairs, and floor. She looks between us and her gaze sharp and terrifying. You stupid assholes, she shouts in her thick accent. What the hell have you done? The look she gives to Charlie and I convey basically her disgust. But the glance she gives to Christian is full of disappointment. I cringe from the secondhand disapproval. Christian chuckles awkwardly. Look, Elena, maybe this got a little out of hand. Do any of you idiots know what time it is? She asks, throwing a hand out towards the window. We have 1 hour until sunset. 1 hour! Tension ripples around the room. No, Charlie mutters, squinting and blinking at his watch. He's the only one wearing one. No, we've got ages, haven't we? I made it at least 3 or 4. He trails off. Elena does not say anything. She just puts a hand to her head. Where's Yuri? She asks quietly with her eyes closed. Tell me he did not have access to this alcohol. No one replies. Fuck, she shouts. Well, you all need to sober up fucking quick, too. She claps her hands in our faces. Move! And move we do, stumbling and tripping, trying to keep out the sudden panic attacking the back of our minds. Shit, is all I can think. as I feel the alcohol sweat start to bud across my body. Shit. 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 Well, thank you all. I know it's been over a month since I've last recorded and uploaded a video. But I want to say thank you for coming back to listen. Thank you to Darkly Gathers for writing this story and for giving me permission to read it. Again, sorry it's taken me so long to get to the next parts. And of course, when I come back, my voice is all wrecked and I'm still a little sick. But, you all stay safe out there and stay warm.